Last we left off, you'd successfully somehow taken over the Birdfolk Council of Alderheart. You set up Tricklejam as king. Princess Luna, you married Tricklejam for the title of queen. Lucille Knuckle joined the Tenders, which you take to be a cult. In that group of religious people, you found Beowulf and Pickle Trill. You set them free and they went off on their own. It's been about a week or two since Princess Luna got married. Lucille, you're met by Harvel, the cult leader. He gets up close to you. He's like, can we have a private word? Right now you're eating a meal with the rest of the party.
Absolutely.
He leads you upstairs into Harold's, which is lit by a bunch of fireflies that are caught in little tiny jars. And he pulls you in close and he's like, are you noticing the new signs with your powers?
No.
Okay, well, there is a significant danger to our land. By now, you should be seeing it in your mind as much as I can see with my mind.
I am level 4, but I don't see any danger.
Okay, well, that's a shame. A demotion is likely in the books if you're not...
Oh, you mean trouble? Yeah, I thought you meant,
Treble.
Yeah, I thought you meant treble. I thought, there was like a barbershop quartet going around.
Deception check.
17.
Well, we had a few mice who looked very beneficial to our cause, who were significantly more open to the mind powers that come with being a tender. I don't think you're welcome amongst the higher powers just yet, so we'll save off promoting you to level 5.
Do some fortune telling with my little runestones.
Roll a d20 and then just plus 2.
12.
So you get your runestones out, you cast them down on the table, and the ones that are face up give you a very general idea that while it's been peaceful for quite a few weeks now, and you've been enjoying some downtime, you get a sense of call to adventure almost. The imminent danger that is a threat, not just to yourselves, but the greater wood. Lucille, he's like, as a valued member of the Tenders, you need to know there is a looming threat across the whole of Humblewood. A part of the royal executive people. We need to deal with it.
Okay.
So you leave tomorrow.
Wait, what?
We have some fallen Tenders by the Scorched Grove.
What do you want us to do there, other than investigate?
Kill the creature that's in them.
Also, it's a creature.
It's not that threatening. It's just roll an insight check, please, Under.
Yeah.
If he says no because he's too scared, does that make him a chicken tender?
Roll the 10.
You know that he's scared of it. What
You
are you trying to
know
suggest?
what it is.
It's big.
Can you draw it?
He gets out one of his notepads and he gets a quill. He puts off his own thing, dips in some ink, and then begins drawing.
Okay, I say we'll do this for a price. I become the majority shareholder of the religion.
What?
Become a shareholder in a religion.
I can't guarantee it myself, but you can become a level 5.
Well, who else have you got to investigate this thing that's going to kill us all, huh?
I've still got my bucket with me, and I can still go out there and speak to a better adventuring party than yourselves.
What, you're going to clang this little bucket? And it's going to take you, how long did it take to find me?
Do not offend me, Lucille. Remember that you are still a level 4. He stretches out his hands and he claps. Wind swirls around your robe. You realise it goes back from a level 4 robe to a level 3.
Right, we'll organise the succession and then we'll go out and take Tricklejam to this beast and then happy accident.
Yeah, didn't we say that you're going to adopt Kingsley
That was it.
and then make him the successor?
Yes. How does adoption work in this kingdom?
Alternatively, a second uprising. That's biased.
We'll see how many revolutions we can throw in this kingdom.
You know that many of the bird folk are now considered second-class citizens as opposed to the first-class citizens that they were originally. Mostly the humble folk are now ruling, so there's a few bird folk who want to immediately go back to the way it was, who have their eye on taking over the throne themselves as well.
We should tell Tricklejam to do some community service so that he gets well-liked.
What would people like to see a king do?
Taxes.
Skateboarding.
I think the thing that will make him popular as king is if he gets all the credit for killing Sharkbait or saving the forest. So I think we should go off on our quest.
Yeah, that would go down with the bandits.
Either he dies or he becomes more popular and then we can kill him.
Leave Sheridan in charge of Alderheart and then Tricklejam and Kingsley, I guess,
Yes.
to go and fight this shark fella and then come back heroes.
Can we convince Spike to become an assassin.
You kind of annoyed Spike last you spoke to him, but you can try.
We can figure out a new phrase we can give him. But
That's the name. Forgiving us is the game.
What was the whole conversation that you've just had with that monk?
there's a worm thing that's like threatening someone.
Let's go kill that then.
Let's float on down, guys.
But shall we bring Trickle Jam so we can kill him?
No, he needs to get popular first. Wait,
He needs to get popular.
Let's bring Trickle Jam and say Trickle Jam killed it.
Let's go.
The Scotch place.
Let's go.
We could take the canoe. Because the notes on the canoe here don't actually say anything about how it needs to be on water. Can I roll to see if, like, you'll let us do it?
Roll
Every day.
an investigation check on it.
Oh, natural 20, but my modifier is -1.
You look at various ways of this playing out. If you can convince me how it's going to work through a forest, how you intend to control it.
Logs underneath.
An army of ants. Just lift it up.
Yeah.
50
Like,
seconds.
We've got loads of them, the length of a canoe. They can lift up a canoe.
You
What
know that
Press
won't
and
work.
large on Kingsley and he just
Let's get Rafty to put some wheels on this canoe. We'll jump in and say hi to Rafferty then.
It's 11 at night. His workshop's just down the road. You see some light underneath the front of his workshop, and you just hear from inside just the sound of intermittent hammering.
I knock on the door.
He pulls it open, takes you all in. He's like, "Oh, my customers, welcome, welcome. If you want to have a look at my latest wares, I'm not opposed to selling you something at this very late hour." He grabs a blanket and he shoves it over where he's just been working on.
I removed the blanket.
So like that, pulls off the blanket. Rafferty tries to grab your hand, but he can't do it in time for you to pull it. Not in a romantic way.
I took his hand anyway.
Beneath it, you have a really small wagon. He says, "Oh, that's just a side project. Don't mind this." And he tries to put the blanket back over. He's just wrestling it from your hand.
Mr.
Your queen has a
Dandridge,
request of you.
my favourite woodworking chipmunk.
Puts the little hammer back into his belt. I can make custom orders for the right price. There's a bit of backlog. It'll take maybe a week for me to finish my personal project.
Rafty, how about if most of it is done and we're just asking for an additional 4 assets? Wheels and possibly a paint job.
Maybe some axles for the wheels, so just stick wheels on there.
I've already got some pre-made wheels.
I'll put down the canoe. Just whip it out of my backpack. Do you reckon you can work with this?
He takes out some glasses that he just unfolds, puts on his...
Canoe can fit 6 medium-sized people in. Why do you need your glasses to see it?
It needs to fit the specific requirements of this kind of business, and he goes around and he feels like the side for bumps and stuff. He's like, "Oh, you haven't taken very good care of this maple wood, have you?" Turns it around again. He's like, "Oh, nice touch with the crafter for the ebony lining here. I can definitely work with this. If you want me to fast track it, I can get it done for you for tomorrow morning for an extra 50 gold pieces. But otherwise, it's a standard 100 gold for the fittings. I'll add a few custom Rafferty Dandridge signatures to it."
Can we have like a lid on it as
Leather
well?
seats.
Lid.
How about some wings, Rafferty? Can you chuck some wings on it?
If you draw up your design, I'll see what I can do with it. But
Bang bang, but instead of mostly a car.
I will definitely be drawing up a nice design for you, Mr. Rafferty Dandridge.
that's still 2 days worth of work for me. I'm not a magician.
I think we should leave him to go on with it and just take the wagon we already have.
And he pulls in his canoe and he continues taking a look at it. And he's like, "So we'll agree on a price now."
Have we already received money from the king?
As you married into this kingdom, you discovered that the city's severely in debt. So the treasury isn't as full as you would hope. It's just covering your operation costs.
Thank you very much for your assistance, Mr. Rafferty Dandridge.
If you want it done in 2 days, that's going to be about 250 gold pieces for everything you've requested. Or if you want for 300, I'll make you a brand new canoe.
Pay 251, 1 extra gold piece for your lovely service.
Can I do an Arcana check on the wagon he's trying to hide?
Yeah.
2. That's okay.
You don't sense any sense of magic from it.
Let's head off on our adventure.
Let's do
Yes, let's do that.
You go off in your old Rafferty Dandridge and you're still taking Trickle Jam and Kingsley with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You go back into your house and he's kind of nestled in his leaf blanket. You see he's decorated his room with model ladybirds and stuff like that.
I tap his shoulder and say, My boy.
And he rubs his eyes and he takes in what he's seeing. He's like, "Are we under attack? Why are you waking up at this late hour?"
We're going on an adventure.
He scrambles out of bed and he grabs his sword and he swishes it in. He's like, "I'm coming with you." Puts in his sheath, he puts his helmet on, and grabs his shield and he's like, "Ah!"
I love him.
Give him a brand new shield.
He takes it in his hand. He's like, "Oh, I really appreciate it, Lucille, but it's a bit too big for me and a bit too heavy." Oh, he looks strong. And
Kingsley, here's some bark I've peeled off a tree.
And then you go into Trickle Jam as well.
Okay, I'll head back to my elegant boudoir. Trickle Jam, hubby Trickles, my little trickle nuggets. Where are you?
You can call me by my actual name, the Chosen One. It's okay.
My actual name, the Chosen One. Name I gave you. Messiah, come here.
Cape that seems twice as big as it should be for him. It trails behind him through the...
He's got a cape.
He has his rapier already on his sheath and he's like, "So, who are we dealing with today?
We've got a big worm to fight, my liege.
And why can't you deal with that yourself? Can you not see I'm a busy...
This big worm is sent from the enemy.
Oh gosh, not one of those again.
Not one of those again. Trickle Jam, what have you been doing? Yeah, so it's sent from the enemy, and in order to put a stop to this, we need you to come along with us so that you can show that you're not weak, you're strong, and you can take on an enemy like this. So that hopefully that will prevent any more people trying to kill you, heaven forbid.
If you remember my days when I was just the gatekeeper, I kind of let Brutus do all the killing. I just stood and watched, and I was hoping we'd have the same agreement between you and I. Well,
that's the beauty of this. You don't have to do any killing. You can just come along with us so that the people of the city know that you were along with us when we went to fight this enemy. And yeah, it may be lying to the people, but they're not going to know. It's going to be our little secret.
Everyone will know that I am the Chosen One, yes?
Yes.
Yeah, everyone will know you're the Chosen One.
Count me in. I'm gonna...
Question. What is he chosen for? Does he know?
He has no clue.
We're keeping it vague.
He's vaguely the Chosen One.
Roll an insight check on him, Harold.
Unnatural 20.
You figured out that he was the lowest of the low, essentially, until Princess came in and told him that he's not. Almost to convince himself, he's taken on this persona that he is the Chosen One and he is above everyone else. So Trickle Jam is more than happy to come along with you.
Make sure you flash that cape to everyone on our way out of the city. They'll love it.
Best leave in the morning then if you want the best crowd.
But we should probably leave now, so regardless of if people see you, we'll just put out a post.
Who's driving this requisite ambush, please?
I will. Hi-ho, Yates.
You begin heading in the direction of Meadowfen, your original home for all of you. Kingsley gets a little bit bored along the way. He's just picking at some of the food you've given him. He's swished his sword a few times. He's like, does anyone not know any travel games? I'm getting kind of...
What about a travel song?
No music.
There's 2 bards on board.
But we are entertainers. Could we not do like a mime act if he doesn't want music?
Yes, that'd be a really good idea. Roll a performance check, please.
I said 19.
8.
Lilypad fully commits this mime performance. Does the whole glass box one, like they're tugging on the rope. And that one. He claps his hands. Harold kind of tries to follow along, but he's more used to singing and dancing than the other performing arts. Kingsley enjoys it, and he continues travelling along.
As we're going along, I want to collect sticks and branches and bits of wood and stuff from sides of the road.
Sure.
And then obviously I've got string. I want to make a coin launcher. Get like a small crossbow, but you can just slot coins in it and then fire them at people.
Do you have proficiency with carpenter's tools?
I don't.
So you just roll a intelligence check.
13.
It doesn't quite work to plan. You haven't had enough practice with this kind of thing before, and of all the twigs and sticks you managed to collect, you don't quite get it to work. It's currently nighttime and a few people are sleeping. Kingsley sneaks up to you and goes, "Princess Luna, truth or dare?"
Dare, Kingsley, dare.
I dare you to take that stick and just prod that mouse over there. Just prod the king in his eye.
Kingsley, I will poke him on the arm. Is that cool?
No fun. Okay.
I poke him really hard. Gotta roll the strength.
This is not how I thought he was going to die.
It was a 4. It was a 4.
He thrashes around in his sleep, and then he kind of sits up, his eyes bleary, and then just falls back down again and starts snoring again. He's like, "You're not as fun as I hoped you'd be."
All right then, Kingsley, truth or dare?
Yeah.
I dare you to swallow this silver piece.
Does it come back out afterwards?
I have some experience in this matter.
Does it come back out afterwards?
Not all of it, But
But
most,
some,
if you're
and I'll be
lucky.
one silver piece richer than I was before.
Open your mouth just before you swallow it so we all see that you're swallowing it, okay?
Okay, he opens his mouth wide and you can stick it onto his tongue, and then he swallows it, and his constitution.
Harold, now!
No! What are you doing?
Do you do it or do you not? After now
No,
realising.
not to Kingsley, it's my son.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
He chokes on it a bit as it goes down, but he manages to successfully swallow it. Like, oh, it's a fun game.
That was a fun game. Nice one, Kingsley.
I think we should go to Meadowfen for the library.
I
Okay.
agree.
It's a good idea.
Sure.
Yes.
We need those books.
Further going down, can I have a perception check from Lucille, please?
I got a 17.
You spot 2 raccoons who are hiding almost in wait.
I whisper to Alec, I think I see bandits.
Mm-hmm.
I shoot one.
Roll your attack against them.
That's a 15.
So as you're driving along the road, Lucille doesn't hesitate. Straight away, it goes through the leaves and strikes this bandit in the forehead, and you just see it drop backwards into the bush. His friend next to him, pulling by the shoulders, begins shaking him. "No, you can't be dead. Don't die!" Pulls the arrow out of it. This raccoon going to start pulling his friend more further into the leaves.
Can I get out and run after them?
Yeah, go ahead. Athletics check.
6.
You begin running into the bush. You can't quite find them as you go, and the leaves are really thick around here.
Can I call out and say, hello? Sorry,
Roll a persuasion check.
that was a 15.
So as you begin shouting this out, he jumps up at you and just slashes at you with a dagger. 14 to hit.
It does hit.
7 points of slashing damage as he comes across your chest.
Can I do an athletics check to do some sort of crazy backflip and then kick his hand to the ground so that I'm stepping on the hand with the dagger?
Like an acrobatics check.
Acrobatics 3.
So as you try and backflip off, you fall backwards instead onto your back. Confused now by you suddenly being on the floor, he's just going to scramble to try and hit you anywhere he can.
I yell, stop.
Princess Luna, you get to go because of
I'm going to use the spicy salt shaker. The wand of wonder. It's one of those things, point and hope for the best, isn't it? That was a roll of 51.
a massive beam of light shines out of your wand and hits this raccoon in the chest. His hand seems to swell as the knife inside of it, his hand grows, and his arm follows until his entire body is twice the size it already was. He's now going to just slash down on you. 12?
12 doesn't hit.
As he just swings, it kind of goes past your arm.
Let's go running in with both of my short swords. 17 damage.
Relic rushes forward, both short swords drawn, slashes down with both short swords. Firstly, his arm drops the dagger, and he's beginning to try and reach down to pick it up and just skewer his heart. He lies down next to his friend. He just crumpled all the bushes around him as he slowly begins to reduce back to his normal size.
Can I loot the bodies?
Roll an investigation check first, though, please.
13.
As you begin looting the bodies, you notice as you're pulling off the armour, essentially, to try and look and see what they've got in the pockets, they've both been branded with an S that's been burnt into their flesh.
I think that's... Does the S stand for shark?
Who are you asking?
The gods. Person that's in control of our lives.
Can I roll an insight to see if I know what the S means?
Oh, you were once a bandit. Roll with advantage.
Oh, yes. Hold up. 15.
You can recall from your bandit days there were a certain clan of bandits that followed Sharkblade, branded with this, was welcome to the camp.
Is there any gold on the bodies?
No gold. They were travelling with a day's worth of rations and they're both carrying daggers.
I'm going to take both of their water skins, empty them out, then I'm going to take mine, empty it out, and I'm going to drain their blood into these water skins.
So you now have 2 water skins of raccoon blood.
3 because I'm using mine as well.
Let's go.
Right on.
So it takes you another 2 hours to get to Meadowfen, and when you're about half an hour off, you begin smelling in the air a horrible stench of smoke. Closer and closer you get to Meadowfen, the more you see the destruction of your hometown. Once luscious fields are now burnt, all the houses that you once resided in and all the trees that the birds were living in, dead, scorched, completely gone. There seems to be no life around.
Are there any tracks?
Nature check, please.
A natural one? I'm going to use one of my spell slots to sense whether any aberrations, celestials, dragons, elementals, fae, fiends, or undead are present within 6 miles of me.
There is a very significant power somewhere nearby.
Ooh,
Would it be the giant worm
probably.
with the fuzzy face?
I can't tell you any more than that now. I think we should look for any survivors. I would like to do that, but stealthily.
I want to help.
Moving into the village, can you roll stealth check, please?
Unnatural 20.
19.
While this is happening, can I do a ritual? Comprehend languages. Because if we're meeting elementals, they're probably going to speak elemental. It lasts an hour.
You cast your ritual spell and a variety of languages begin flooding your mind.
Is everything still on fire?
A lot of it's on fire, yes.
Rain dance, yes. Is that performance you want?
Yeah.
17.
As she calls out to whichever god will listen to her to try and send any sort of rain. A few clouds begin to form, but in terms of rainfall, you don't feel anything.
Is there a body of water nearby?
There's a lake about 20-minute walk out of town.
I could use a cantrip, control water. I can bring a 5-foot cube of water and then just walk it back.
Depends how stealthy Lucille and Relic are right now. You both decided to sneak into town to look for survivors. Lilypad is up on the hill doing a rain dance, and Princess Luna is thinking of carrying some water to put out the fires of Meadowfen.
So we're all doing our best.
I can take Kingsley and then teach him how to swim as he's swimming around in this 5-foot cube of water. I could put my canoe on the water.
Can't you just travel like that?
I'm just carrying this 5-foot cube of water around with me so that we can use a canoe.
Ahead, Lucille recognizing before Relic does, there are 2 of these cult members in their iconic blue robes crying over a small heap of fallen cult members. They've got a little pile and they're ready to send them off into the afterlife.
I go up to them and I go flurry of.
Oh, you do
Right.
the relief thing.
So we're going to get some fries tenders.
She puts her hands up, claps, and somehow the power from her level 4 mastery is retained in her body. Some leaves fly up around, and the 2 tenders look up as well. They nod their heads in respect, and they're like, "I'm so glad you survived the fire."
I come from Alderheart, and the leader back there, he's gone mad with power, and I think he's the one who set this fire.
That's a bold claim. He sent the beast, the calamity that has passed upon Humblewood.
Yeah.
A religion check, please.
13.
You recall from your first church meeting them reciting the great calamity. So long ago, bird folk thought they could stop forest fires from devastating the wood by using powerful otherworldly magics. But the plan backfired, and their magics not only fueled the flames, but the grove itself was consumed, so the scorched grove where you're heading to. The bird folk were able to lull the blaze to a quiet slumber. But the flames were contained, the act has unbalanced the magic in the area. Despite all their efforts, the great calamity is still going on, and the scorched grove is spreading, which is why there's been loads of fires springing up everywhere. It has now reached Meadowfen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the religious leader is using more dangerous magic.
The religious leader? I thought you were talking about Trickle Jam.
I thought you were talking about Trickle Jam.
Okay, so Lucille's in with them. Relic.
I'm just going to stay hidden.
Lilypad, are you finished with your rain dance?
Yeah, it didn't work. I visit my old home.
Can
Okay,
I find my old house?
you can. Let's do Lilypad first. Where did you live?
Well, it's quite a swampy area. There's a little tree trunk door. Well, it's not a tree trunk door, it's a piece of bark I just stuck on there. Surrounded by boggy marsh, if you will, swamp. And inside, there's all my loving instruments.
She heads over to the swampy area that's about 5 minutes out of the main town, which has become completely destroyed. There's trees around still smouldering. As she reaches the bog where she once lived, she notices that the ground beneath her is really hot. As you step in, and the tree trunk door has fallen in on itself. You can see inside, the majority of the area is really run down. Can I have a perception check, please?
14.
You can recover 3 instruments and 2 personal items.
French horn, harmonica, kalimba. That's all.
You open up the cupboards and you notice that it's definitely been looted, but amongst the stuff you notice that your once prized saxophone that was gifted to you has been completely dented. The horn is bent in like an angle that doesn't produce any music. You put it to your lips to try and blow a tune, it just comes out as like, so you discard that. But you're able to find your wooden harmonica as you begin to play a little tune on it, and you also find your kalimba and your French horn. As you put them into your backpack, and you head upstairs and you can collect 2 personal items.
Photograph of my parents and the knife that Mr. Allen was killed with.
So you collect, it's not a photograph, but it's a really small painting of your parents and a little jar, which was the frog spawn that became Lilypad Allen. And you also can add to your inventory a nasty knife.
Thank you.
Now, Harold, as Lilypad goes off towards her swamp, you go down the main route towards your house on the main road. Inside what once held loads of jars of fireflies, all smashed. Your house has survived most of the burning. Please have an investigation check there.
12.
So as you begin rummaging lots of stuff, you notice that as it's been a very prominent house on the main road, it's definitely looted. So I'll let you take 3 items from your house, which you can remember you stored there.
My bagpipes, which I've been missing the entire game. My pillow, and a teeny little pair of shoes that I had as a child.
All the rest of the stuff has been looted. People obviously didn't think these were worth anything. Princess Luna, you come now back into the village of Meadowfen, carrying your big thing of water. Kingsley's there swimming around inside of it, as you all come back together around this little funeral.
I'd like to invite religious people to join our crusade.
We've had enough with the ash snake, and we're not seeing another one.
You know about it?
Of course, we were here when it happened.
I'd like to know its weaknesses, its strengths.
Social security details.
National insurance number.
Mother's maiden name.
Its first pet, please.
Street you grew up on.
Could I do a history check to see if the sort of scorching is the same as what killed the Sparrow Shadow?
You definitely tell that the scorching is the same.
It killed my parents.
You feel suddenly almost like the ground tremoring and an earthquake. You see emerging from the destroyed land, it's this giant snake. The scales are almost on fire. It's got little cracks inside it. You feel the heat as it comes up. And it's like a gust of hot air, and it's now going to begin rushing towards you. It's going to make an initial grab for Lucille. The 2 other cult members have just run in the general direction away from this. 15 to hit.
Yes, that hit.
It grabs you and you're restrained. Its tail suffocating you. 7 points of bludgeoning damage as it begins crushing you, and then it's also going to try and bite down on Relic. Natural 20. 22 points of damage on Relic.
I am going to take flight and shoot it. 15 to hit, 6 damage.
Cool, so Relic flies up away from this thing just as it bites him. It reaches up to try and grab you again, but is unable to, as you fire an arrow right inside its mouth. And you see flames engulf the arrow, but then it shoots back out of its scales on the other side, and you just see a fiery flash beneath it.
Can I wiggle out?
You can make a contested strength check against it.
I rolled a 5.
You successfully get out of the grasp of this ash snake. I rolled a natural 1. It's too distracted trying to reach up to Relic that it loses its grip on you and just roll out. I'm going to let you take another action as well.
I shoot it with my longbow.
As you fall out of this thing, you shoot up. As its mouth reaches up,
19 with 10 damage.
your arrow flies up through the back of its mouth and it just gets lodged in there next to one of its fangs. Kingsley's kind of too far away, but he's feeling really encouraged by the victories you're both having with it. He falls out of the water onto the wand, takes out the sword and shouts charge and rushes forward with his arm outstretched.
I fly up and shoot it with my short bow. With 4 damage.
Cast Bane on it.
Okay, what save is it in Wisdom?
This is Charisma.
12. So it's Bane, which does, is it 1d4 less damage?
Yeah, you roll a 1d4 and then take it away from everything.
Lilypad comes down laden with her personal items, sees this snake, erupts, and all the stuff going on with the arrows. She gets a harmonica out, and there's a little melody. This snake eyes her.
So I want to run towards the snake. I've still got the water, so I'm just going to put the water down on the snake and
Sure.
then use Ray of Frost.
So you dump the water as you cast Ray of Frost.
4 to hit.
As this water descends down, Princess Luna throws a star at it, which is too distracted. The snake is doused and you see smoke suddenly rise from it.
I'm going to drop and try and stab one of its eyes with both short swords. 15 points of damage.
Relic puts his bow on his back as he gets out the short swords again and just swoops down in like a dart. Both swords pierce it. His eyes just sparks. With the fire inside, it just diminishes.
I got 14 to hit with my bow. It was 9 damage.
So Lucille is still on the floor after the thing has just crushed her, and she shoots upwards. Harold sees the arrow go up, just misses him by a fraction, and then it comes back down and lands on its head. Kingsley puts up a shield against the heat, takes out his sword and just slashes down as hard as he can. It just bounces off its scale to them as the snake's tail whips in a bit of anger at the slight damage it's caused him. It's now his turn. Everyone except Lilypad, can you all make a dexterity saving throw, please?
Sucks to be you guys.
Natural 20.
22.
17.
And 11.
This snake, who's now missing an eye, its face just begins curling around the smoke, and at first no one quite notices what's going on, but the smoke around it suddenly becomes extremely hot and just bursts out from him. Princess Luna takes 2 Relic, Harold, and Kingsley all take 1.
It was just
That
wasted.
he's going to grab Kingsley with his tail like he's doing before for Lucille and begins choking him. It's also then going to try and bite Princess Luna now it's got an opening. 20 to hit.
Believe it or not, Charlie, that does hit.
5 points of damage as this snake lands on your chest and just pierces you.
I want to cast blindness, please.
Constitution 8.
It's blinded until for 1 minute.
Smoke seems to come over it rather than it to go out, so you can still see a fire beneath it.
Where are we at vis-a-vis me trying to charm the snake?
You can try and charm it with the harmonica, but last time you used your harmonica, you did cast a bad spell on him.
Good point. Never mind. Princess Luna, you've got bardic inspiration. I'll take a shot of my crossbow, but 22 to hit.
Luna shoots it in the face. Roll your damage, please.
2.
She takes the crossbow and now she winds it, throwing a small toot of a harmonica in Princess Luna's direction as the crossbow hits it right in the jaw.
How big is this snake?
I'd say its head is about your size.
So I'm just going to climb across to the other eye and stab it. 19 to hit. 15 damage.
As you slash down inside its next eye, you see the fire inside turn to dust or ash again. It shrieks again a second time, and its head now falls to the ground, and it seems to be trying to either escape or burrow down into the ash around it.
15 to hit and 9 damage again.
As its head is falling, Lucille takes pretty much a pot shot, just trying to hit whatever she can do. And as the head's descending, it hits it in the back of its head. Its teeth crush the ground beneath it. Kingsley is just going to slash down the tail as hard as he can. And so he chops off the very tip of his tail. Okay, it's going to try and grab Princess Luna, but it's going to roll with a disadvantage because you can't see her. 3. Its tail whips around Kingsley as then it tries to grapple Luna, but Luna just sidesteps it.
I'm going to use my short bow again. I think a good old between the eyes into the brain shot.
Harold shoots up into the sky, spins around, and then fires her bow. Its eyes were already clouded with smoke, and as it goes through it, you see its whole body curl up into smoke, and the fire inside of it dies. You are all out of combat.
Can I cut off the tip of its tail and hand it to Luna?
The tip of the tail is just lying on the floor where Kingsley cut it off earlier.
I go up to the cultists.
So the cultists are over here just been watching. As you begin walking over there, you feel more tremors now in the ground. As surrounding you, you're surrounded by another 5 of these ash snakes that burst up around you and circle you. Smoke is around you, you feel the heat from them as you all begin cowering closer and closer together as these circle you. What would you all like to do?
Fly away.
Burrow.
Lucille, you can definitely try and burrow. So Lucille straight away starts burrowing down, and you are joined down there by this one here. Harold and Relic are trying to fly as high away as they can.
Well, it was a good game.
5 of these snakes suddenly stop what they're doing and look north. You begin seeing as if it's a massive, massive forest fire engulfing the entire forest around you. And it's approaching closer and closer and closer. The ground is like an earthquake around you, and these 5 snakes forget all about you. Xander, you see the snake that's about to bite you flee as fast as it can away, and they all begin scurrying south as this fire gets closer and closer to you.
Let's go
And
south.
that is where we'll close the game for this
Oh,
evening.
great.
Mm-hmm.